Live authentically. I feel like that's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? I often think of my cats, and I would say for them, they are living authentically. They have no fear that anything they do will cause me to not love them anymore. They have no fear of judgment, and they can kind of just be themselves without worrying about what other people think of them because they're a cat. I know you can't exactly compare a cat to a human all of the time, but in this case, when you think about a human, we do worry about being judged for being ourselves. We do fear that we will lose the love of others if we do something that they may not approve of. And we do worry that we will lose people around us if we start to get interested in things that may be too out of the box for them. Whereas for an animal, they don't have any of those thoughts. So what does it mean to really live authentically? Is it to own plants if you want to? Is it hanging up the art that you enjoy in your bedroom? Is it reading the books you like? Wearing clothes that are your favorite color? Learning how to cook the foods you enjoy? Driving the car that you've always wanted to drive? Decorating your house in the way you want to and listening to the music that you truly enjoy. Does that mean that you're living authentically, or is it a little bit deeper than that? From first glance, it kind of seems like everyone has their own personal definition of what living authentically means to them. There are so many published books about this. I don't even know where you would start if you were looking for a book. There are tons of podcasts, and not even to start on how many different articles you can read on how to learn to live authentically. To answer my own question, yes, I believe it does go a lot deeper than just the traits about you that make you who you are. Obviously, having a favorite color, a favorite restaurant, a favorite brand, those are all unique identifiers about you, and those could be very authentic to who you are, but I think that living authentically goes a lot deeper than just those surface level things about you that do make you who you are. For example, I love the color orange. I love my cats more than a lot of other things. I love tofu, but just because I have those be a part of my daily life doesn't necessarily mean that I am living authentically. If you've been following me at all, I deleted social media off of my phone, but I opened it on my laptop today because I was gonna have a little segment of this video be about how my Instagram isn't authentic to who I am. And instead I found myself scrolling for I think 4 minutes before I felt like total shit about myself. I was comparing myself to people, I was feeling bad. I was like, wow, these people are doing all this traveling, and I was just feeling really bad about myself. And that kind of solidified the fact that, like, yeah, you need to get these social media platforms off of your phone. I think that having social media is really killing the ability to truly live authentically to yourself. It took only 4 minutes for me to start comparing myself to others and to start wondering, am I doing enough? Am I traveling enough? Am I doing X, Y, and Z? And before I opened Instagram today, I was really content with my life. I was just talking to my dad about how I loved my job, and I'm super excited for family vacation next week. It didn't take much time at all to steal that happiness away from me and to get me all worried again about if I'm living my life the way I should be. But I am, because recently I have been living my life more for myself instead of trying to align with how everyone else is living theirs to try and fit in and to feel more comfortable with who I am. So I think a really big part of why people struggle to live authentically is because they have constant comparison in their head of themselves to whoever. And kind of getting back to the living authentically, I feel like it's really easy to say, like, oh, like, live authentically, like, do the things you want, do the things you like. But for a lot of people, as we grow up and we change, some of the things we want to try can be a little bit scary and a little bit different. And I think it's so important to have people in your life who are supportive of you throughout those changes so that you can pursue what truly makes you happy. I have changed so much, even in the past year, and especially since college. I have been so lucky to have a good group of friends who have supported me through every stage, and I feel very lucky to have a good support system. But I know for some people that I've talked to, they feel kind of trapped with the friends they have and the family they have, and they feel limited to, trying new things and really living the life they want. And I feel like a lot of people are dreamers instead of doers. And they're like, oh, I really wish I could have a different job. I really wish I could do more traveling. I really wish I wasn't in such a toxic relationship. And instead of actually doing something about it, they just think about it. And I think that's another big part of living authentically. If you are truly wanting to travel more, then start doing things so that you can. If you want to get out of a bad relationship, then set yourself up for success. I know it's not always easy to leave a relationship, but you can do things to get to that point. If you want to lose weight, don't just sit around and think about it. Start walking every day. Start setting up a workout plan for yourself. Start eating healthier. There are things you can do to achieve the goals so that you can be living authentically. I have been wanting to get back into the music part of myself for about a year now, and it has taken so much effort. I don't know why. I have tried to start voice lessons at 2 different places, and both of them took months to get back to me. I had to reach out several times, and both of them ended up blowing me off. But instead of giving up, I just decided I would audition for a musical, and I would get musical fulfillment out of that instead of paying for lessons from places that clearly don't even want me to go there. And I also wanted to start getting more active, so I signed up for an ultimate frisbee league. And I feel like a lot of people would just sit around and let life pass them by and wish that they could be doing more, but you actually have to go out and do the thing. I feel like a lot of people have so many dreams and so many wishes for their life, and then they get to a point where they're like, shit, I didn't do any of the things I wanted to do, and it kind of is sad. My first job that I had from last September through this June, I hated it. I was so miserable. I was so unhappy. But I had it in my head that I had to complete a full year at this job so my resume didn't look bad. But I quit after 7 months, I think, 7 or 8 months. And I was really scared to do it, but I was literally depressed. I was so unhappy. And it's one of the best decisions I have ever made. I love my job, and I'm going to hold on to it for dear life. I didn't know you could wake up and actually want to go to work. It's been amazing. But anyways, when I was quitting and I was letting people know I was quitting, I had more than one person who was middle-aged or a little bit past middle age look at me and be like, I am jealous because I have hated my job for 15 years and I haven't left. I hated my job when I started and I've never left. I really wish I would have gotten out early so I could pursue something that would have actually given me fulfillment. But a lot of people won't do that because it is scary. I was scared. I remember the day before I didn't sleep at all because I was terrified to quit. And I was terrified of what this new job could be. What if it was worse? What if I couldn't deal with the salary change? What if X, Y, and Z? What if, right? But instead, I'm so happy. And I feel like sometimes to truly live authentically, you have to kind of get rid of that what if voice in your head and just do the thing. Obviously, for my situation, I am very grateful for this, but I did not have to worry financially about quitting my job. It was easy for me to switch jobs, and it was also very easy for me to find another job. Because of the career field I'm in, there's often a lot more job opportunities. So I know for someone who's in a certain type of job and they hate their job, they might not be able to find a new one, and they might not be able to quit, especially with how the economy is. But if you are in a position where you could be applying to other jobs and you're just sitting there not applying because you don't think you'd get it or you're too scared, what are you doing? Because years are going to pass and you're just going to be miserable. Why would you do that? I don't get it. There's also a reason that this is a huge way to get money from people. People want to live authentically. People want to feel like they are living for themselves. And that's why there's so many podcasts, there's so many books, there's so many articles you can read. You can sign up for workshops about this. It is a huge cash grab because people want to know, how can I achieve this? How can I stop living for other people? And I don't know, like honestly, I don't have the answers. I just think that it's something to consider is like, why do I feel like I can't do the things I want to do? Now, how does this apply to my life? Why do I feel like I have any credentials to talk about this? Back up about a year, I'm post-grad. I've talked about it before, I did public accounting. And if you don't know anything about public accounting, it's basically, think like big corporate job. You don't sleep, very stressful, very long hours during busy season. My busy season hours was 10 to 12 hours a day. I would work on Saturdays. It was horrendous. Great opportunity. I learned a ton, and the people I worked with were very supportive, but the actual job itself and the structure of the job was killing me. I hated it. I would cry every day at work. I lost almost 15 pounds, and it was just really bad for me. And the reason I took this job, if I'm being completely honest, was to make my parents happy. And you might be thinking, Stella, why would you do that? Why would you take a whole ass job to make your parents happy? And it's because I didn't really realize this about myself until recently, but I am a people pleaser. My cats are running around. I wanted my parents to be proud of me. And this is not to shit on my parents. They're very supportive, and I know that they'll be proud of me no matter what, but I had it in my head that I needed to get the biggest and best job in order to make my parents be proud of me. And that's what I did. Oh my God, it was so not me. I took a whole job for someone else to be happy, not me. I knew I wouldn't like this job. I decided very early on that I didn't want to get my CPA, but I still took this job to make other people happy. Also, post-grad year, I'm in a relationship, very toxic relationship, and it became to the point where I was doing anything in my power to make my partner happy at the cost of my physical health, my mental health, my sleep. Like, I was doing anything I could to keep this relationship afloat, and it cost me myself. Like, I was a shell of a human being for a very long time. The combination of doing a job for someone else and living for someone else in a relationship literally destroyed me. And I feel like I'm at a point now where I can talk about it and be like, yeah, it was horrible, but I'm doing better now, and I learned a bunch of stuff. And basically what I learned is that you will never be happy people pleasing. You will only be happy if you are living true to yourself and accomplishing the goals that you want. If it makes other people uncomfortable, then fuck it. My parents, like, they won't admit this, but I know they were very concerned when I quit my job. And I almost didn't consider taking this new job because I was worried of how my parents would feel. Could we be serious? Like, it's my job. I'm the one who has to go to work every day. But I had it in my head that I couldn't do this because it would make someone else uncomfortable. And that's a lot of what living authentically is about. It's like you're scared to do something because it might upset other people, or you're scared to do something because of the what ifs, and it might be too out of the box for other people. And I feel like to truly be happy, you just have to stop all those thoughts. Since that horrible 6-month period has happened and pushed me out of my comfort zone, I have never been happier, and I feel like I am so much more living for myself, and it's honestly a great feeling. I also had it in my head for the longest time that people were going to judge me if I started doing these activities again. And my friends were so supportive. Like, they didn't think I was a nerd for wanting to do a musical. They didn't think it was lame that I wanted to play Frisbee. They were like, oh, Stella, that's cool. Do your thing. And that's how I am for them. When they say, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing, I'm like, okay, cool. Love that for you. A lot of people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. No one gives a fuck what I'm doing, if I'm being serious with myself. To an extent they do, but not as much as I really think they do. People just want me to be happy, and I was preventing myself from achieving that for a very long time. So hopefully this made sense, and if you watch this, I hope you took something away from it and are more motivated to start living for yourself and for being authentic to the things you want to do, the things you want to accomplish. And I know that this is also a phrase that is thrown out all of the time, but life is very short and it is very precious, and I never want to feel like I am living for other people again. Until I have children, and that's obviously a whole other can of worms, I want to feel like I am living for Stella. I want to make Stella happy, and I feel like to truly make others happy, you need to be happy with yourself first. So, thanks.